Hey guys, HTV here and welcome to a brand new video. Today we've got some pretty big information to go over. Somebody apparently from the inner circle of the Terra Leaker has posted some more Legends EA stuff on 4chan. We also have some pretty big hints towards retro Pokemon games being on the Nintendo Switch from like the Game Boy Advance, stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff to break down and get into today. If you're excited for the video though, make sure to drop a like down below. Let's try and hit 500 likes, it really helps out. Leave a comment with your thoughts on anything we cover in today's video. Subscribe if you're brand new, ring the notification bell. With all of that out of the way, let's get into the video and I really hope that you enjoy. So, starting things off, let's go over this supposed new information from the Terra Leak about Pokemon Legends EA. Now, of course, this was posted on 4chan. There's nothing validating this information. It could just be somebody trying to ride the kind of like Terra Leak situation. But apparently they were part of the inner circle. Let's just see what they say. Again, take it with a massive grain of salt as always. They posted it on the 1st of November and it's just titled ZA Info from the Terra Leak. So it says, I was part of the inner circle of the leaker, so they were part of it, but it looks like they're not part of it anymore, who gained access into the Terra Leak, told us not to post anything, but he's basically blackmailing us now, so screw it, here's some info. I mean, straight off the bat, I don't know how the leaker would blackmail you. Like, surely you could blackmail the leaker because, surely you have an idea of who it is. Unless they're just using a complete, alias online or something like that, which I assume they are. But I don't know how they would be blackmailing them as well. Like, you wouldn't give your personal information out if you were part of this big leak. As well as that, the leaker did say that he didn't give the game out to anyone. He hasn't got an inner circle or something like that. According to the leaker anyway, Riddler said that he leaked it, but the leaker themselves said that they didn't. I don't really know what's going on. But either way, apparently they have seen something about the game. So they say, I haven't played the game, but was in a Discord call watching him play, so I know a lot about the game. That would have been such a mad Discord call, by the way, if this is true. Like, imagine just 4 people in Discord call. One of them's playing this brand new game that nobody knows what it looks like or anything, and you're all just some of the only people in the world outside of the Pokemon company that's playing. If this is true, it would have been absolutely mad. They didn't take any screenshots though. Surprise, surprise, because I didn't want to get in trouble. Which is, I mean, you're already part of this quote-unquote inner circle, so you're going to get in trouble regardless, but apparently they didn't want to take any screenshots. Either way, doesn't set it up really for any reliability, but they say, I watched from around the 5-hour mark into the game, and this is the main things that I saw. So they didn't see the start of the game. So I'm assuming there was just a really long Discord call, and they joined 5 hours into the game. But either way, they're saying he had a level 19 Frogadier, which again, I guess would just reconfirm that the starter Pokemon are going to be the Kalos starters. A level 16 Oddish, a level 15 Hoot, a level 19 Rolts, and a level 15 Psyduck. So, a nice little variety of Pokemon. It would obviously confirm the Frogadier line is back, which, again, we're expecting that anyway. The Oddish line is back. The Hoot line is back. The Rolts line is back, which makes sense because obviously Mega Gallade and Mega Gardevoir. And then also the Psyduck line is back as well, which also makes sense because Psyduck, I think, has been in every single game. It is Junichi Masuda's favorite Pokemon, so it makes sense that Psyduck would be in the game. I don't know if that's just a massive coincidence or this person knew that, if this is fake, but either way, that's apparently the Pokemon. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Pokemon in the team, so obviously one more open spot. They didn't have access to Mega Evolution yet, which kind of makes sense. I don't think you'd really get access to Mega Evolution until later on in the game. They might have got an item for, I don't know, Mega Greninja or something, just like we get access to the Venusaurite, the Charizardite, the Blastoiseite early on into Pokemon X and Y, but obviously you can't use it at the time you get it. But yeah, they didn't have access to Mega Evolution yet. Then goes on to say he spent a lot of time running around the city. A lot of people have side quests, but it kept crashing when he tried to accept certain ones. Which, again, okay, fair play, this person has done the research, because I'm pretty sure the leaker said that, the majority of the side quests, weren't working. So, I guess, if they're not working, then I guess it will just crash the game. But, either way, apparently there's a lot of people with NPC side quests, which also, I guess, makes a lot of sense, because, you get your main quest from, the main people and stuff, but I'm expecting this to be, very quest-heavy. And like I say, a lot of people just give you miscellaneous items and stuff, and maybe some actual good items as well for doing all the quests. So you can leave the city of Lumiose to different areas. He went to a forest area, but it's still labeled as Lumiose. So I mean that's what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to be you got the main hub of the city, and then you got all these areas around, and you unlock these areas as you kind of like build the city up or something. But it's all labeled as Lumiose. Maybe. I don't really know. That's the only way I can see it, because I just can't see you catching like Pokemon in the city. Like, there's just like random people walking out in the background, and then you're just like catching a Pokemon right in front of it. It just doesn't really make sense, especially if they're attacking us in this game. So I feel like there has to be like these outer areas and stuff. But I don't know, because we did see a Pokemon battle happening in the city in the reveal trailer. So who even knows at this point? But apparently you can leave and go to different areas. Notable Pokemon in this area, so in this forest area, were Ledibur, which confirms the Ledibur line would be back. Loads of bug types like Weedles, which would confirm the Weedle line is back. Obviously, Mega Beedrill. Scatterpug line is back, which makes sense because it's a Generation 6 Pokemon. And then also the Caterpie line is back as well, so Metapod and Butterfree also return. Again, this is all, if this is true. The trainers are also dotted over these areas, so there's going to be a lot more battles, I assume. And it says, during the battles, there was no Agile or Strong Style or anything like that. So that would mean that Agile and Strong Style don't return, which I guess if it is set in the future after X and Y, they probably wouldn't be in the game, because we've literally just played X and Y where, well, we haven't just played it, but we've played X and Y where obviously it has normal battles, so why would it then go from that to Agile and Strong? Again, we just want to see a bit of footage so we know when this game is set. I feel like we'll know instantly. As soon as we see some footage, we'll know when the game is set. It says the UI is very similar to Arceus in terms of the box layout, which I really liked. I really like the UI of the box in Pokemon Legends Arceus. There's no sprites, just close-up images of the Mons, which again, I think looks really cool. I really am hoping that they kind of carry that on. It says held items return as well as abilities. He also evolved his Oddish manually, so that also returns. So manual evolution returns, where it will say like on the side, can evolve or something, and then you have to manually do it, which I actually prefer, because it's just annoying if you don't have like an Everstone or something, and they're just trying to evolve every single level, and you just don't want the Pokemon to evolve. But yeah, held items and abilities also return. So I assume the Everstone would return anyway, but I'm a fan of the manual evolution. I think it's cool. Didn't see him crafting anything, and normal Pokeballs return. He bought items from a Pokemart. So yeah, I mean, I think if we are going to craft anything, I think it would just be like parts of the city, and I think that's what we'll need items for. But yeah, if it is obviously set in the future, we will have normal Pokeballs and stuff like that. We're not going to be crafting those old like Hisuian balls and stuff. He says, didn't see the beginning of the game, but I'd say the game takes place roughly 5 to 10 years after X and Y, since a lot of the characters return. So yeah, I'm assuming that. So obviously he's talking about like maybe Sycamore there, Serena, stuff like that, Clem, all going to be returning. And yeah, it takes place around 5 to 10 years after X and Y, which again makes sense. It says Serena acted like a mentor, and she works with Sycamore now, which I could also kind of see. I think that'd be kind of cool, little sort of character story for her. And he says, that's all I can remember at the moment. We'll post more if anything else comes up. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing really making it sound completely fake. I mean, well, I say that, but the second sentence where it's like, oh, I didn't take any screenshots, didn't want to get in trouble, that's kind of like a big red flag in my opinion. But I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. We're just hoping for a trailer at this point. But let me know your thoughts on this rumor. Do you think this is true or not? Would you like it to be true or not? Because there's a lot of things here, like a lot of things not returning, a lot of things are returning. So let me know your thoughts on this rumor. So that's that. And then also finishing things off for today's video, I wanted to quickly go over this. We have Game Rant here talking about the kind of potential retro games coming in like 2025 and stuff like that. It says it's hard to know what the future holds for Nintendo Switch Online, but 2025 could be the year that the service delivers something special. So again, this isn't like fact or anything like that. This is just like quite, well, I mean, speculation at the end of the day, but it's like hints and stuff at it. But it says Nintendo Switch Online may finally cross an item off Pokemon fans' wish lists in 2025. So the Pokemon franchise naturally is among Nintendo's crown jewels. It's generally safe to assume that every Nintendo console generation will see a handful of Pokemon releases over its lifetime. And this long-term commitment to the series has yielded well over 100 games, including remakes and alternate versions, example Pokemon Emerald and Pokemon Ruby. So it says Pokemon's rich history means that virtually every fan has their favorites of the series. A lot of the franchise's success and identity comes down to, for better or worse, nostalgia, as the likes of Pokemon Fire Red defined the childhoods of so many in the 90s and 2000s. I mean, Fire Red just wasn't out in the 90s. I think they mean Pokemon Red there, so yeah, nice. Establishing a firm identity for the series. More recently, the Pokemon Company has been shifting its development strategy slightly, as seen with games like Pokemon Legends Arceus and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which demonstrate a clear departure from the top-down 2D gameplay of the older titles. Then says, furthermore, remakes like Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Pokemon Shining Pearl, while faithful, are still decidedly modern in their presentation, sending a message that the old school style of Pokemon has essentially gone extinct. And then says old Pokemon games still aren't playable on the Switch. So for whatever reason, Nintendo Switch Online only has spin-off main games available, which is true. Like, I don't know why they're tiptoeing around all the main series games. Like, they've done Pokemon Snap, they've done Pokemon Stadium 1, Pokemon Stadium 2, Pokemon Pokemon Red Rescue Team. They've done Pokemon Puzzle League, I think. I think they're doing the Pokemon TCG game as well. Like, they're only seemingly doing spin-offs for whatever reason. No idea why. Not any of the mainline series entries like Fire Red, Emerald, etc. This is rather baffling, as many fans consider the games released before Sword and Shield to be the best in the franchise. Nintendo and Game Freak could make an easy buck by releasing these older titles on Nintendo Switch Online, which already provides emulation for a number of classic Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. These classic titles, alongside Pokemon games released on the Nintendo DS handhelds, aren't available on the eShop either, meaning that the only way to experience these beloved games is in original hardware. It's rather surprising, since while Game Freak and Nintendo can certainly leverage nostalgia to great effect with remakes, it would probably be far easier and nearly as profitable to simply release these older games in their original state on modern consoles. In other words, there is no doubt a substantial portion of Nintendo Switch owners that would be happy to hop aboard Nintendo Switch Online, were it to actually include some of the most iconic and influential Pokemon games in Nintendo's backlog. So 2025 could finally be the year when Nintendo brings old school Pokemon games to the Nintendo Switch Online. So, again, this isn't like concrete or anything like that, it's just a little bit of a hint, a little bit of speculation. But it says a recent email promotion from Nintendo gestures towards significant changes to Nintendo Switch Online in 2025. And while this could be nothing more than typical advertising and hype building, perhaps there is actual substance to it. Of course, Nintendo is likely formulating all manner of plans for next year, especially since the Nintendo Switch 2 is probably going to launch before 2026. But maybe the fabled Pokemon franchise could see some significant changes as well. Bringing the older games to NSO is long overdue and would be welcomed with open arms by fans, especially since Nintendo has been cracking down on emulators, making access to these classic titles even more challenging. I think that is quite a big indication, to be fair, the fact that they are they're really going hard on emulators at the moment, and maybe that is because they want people to stop emulating the games because they're gonna drop them all on the Nintendo Switch. So they don't want people playing them for free, they want people to play them on the Nintendo Switch Online, and that's why they're cracking down on all these emulators and stuff, because they have done that in the past. They've cracked down on certain games and fan games and ROM hacks because it has something similar to what they were going to introduce in the actual games. So that could be a reason that they are going for emulators, just because they are about to drop all of these online games, all these old games online. Perhaps there's a concern that these older games could cannibalize sales of the new Pokemon releases, but with such a clear line in the sand drawn between classic GBA and DS Pokemon and modern day Pokemon, this seems wildly unlikely. Realistically, putting classic Pokemon on the Nintendo Switch Online would be a logical step, since they were among the most successful Game Boy titles, and if Nintendo wants to grow NSO's GBA library, then it's going to have to put them on the service at some point. So, like I say, the main hints are that obviously like the email, and then obviously the kind of I guess really like doubling down on all these emulators and stuff. I think for me it makes sense to do something for the 30th anniversary. I think this is less likely to be true now because obviously there wasn't anything about this in the Terra Leak, and we've had a lot of stuff leaked in the Terra Leak. But for the 30th anniversary, why not just drop like a massive kind of Pokemon thing? You know, drop like either a game that has all of the old games on it, or just drop them all on Nintendo Switch Online. You know, as a big 30th anniversary thing, all the old games are available. And again, they might be waiting for the Switch 2, they might be waiting for the 30th anniversary, they might not do it, but that's the only reason as to why I think they haven't done it yet, because it is just a massive cash cow at this point. Like, they make so much money off either dropping it all on Nintendo Switch Online, or if they literally just made a cartridge where you open up the cartridge and then there's literally just rows and rows of the main series games. So you'd have like Kanto, and then like all the Kanto games, so like yellow, blue, red, maybe even green, and then fire red, leaf green. Then you'd have Johto, so you'd have like gold, silver, crystal, hot gold, hot soul silver. You'd have like Hoenn, which you'd have obviously like emerald, ruby, sapphire, stuff like that. It just makes so much. Like, they could literally drop it for like $100 and people would just pay it, because you're getting so many old Pokemon games. And I think if you have it on the cartridge as well, that's it now. Like, you've got them forever, and until obviously the later consoles and stuff come out. So that's my dream. Like, I'm not as fussed about them being on Switch Online because I'd rather have a cartridge, but if they're available, then they're available, and everyone's going to be happy about that. But either way, look, we'll see if we get anything for the 30th anniversary. I think logically that's the best time to do it because it's a celebration of all the years of Pokemon, but that's just my thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts on it. Do you think we're ever going to see these on GBA Online, or the Nintendo Switch Online, should I say? And also, what are your thoughts on this potential leak here as well about the Terra League? Let me know everything about it. But that's everything from me. If you enjoyed, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you're brand new, ring the notification bell for daily Pokemon content. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and until next time, peace.